Okay, we have some very exciting news coming to us via Canon rumors, and it is about the Canon EOS R8. So this is now not going to be an APS-C camera, at least according to Canon rumors. I never thought it was going to be an APS-C camera. I always thought it was going to be a full-frame camera. It looks like that is going to be the case, and it looks like it is essentially going to be the follow-up to the Canon EOS R, or at least it's kind of a follow-up to the Canon EOS R because it's going to be sitting around that $1,500 price range, which if this camera is what this camera is, I guess, rumored to be at $1,500, I think it's going to be pretty incredible. Now, right after I set up to record this video, we got even more information coming to us about this camera and some possible specs for this camera. This is also coming to us via Canon rumors, but they are taking their information from another site. This is a Japanese site called Digikami or Digikami. I'm not exactly sure if I'm saying that right, but the information, or at least their speculation, is kind of out there. I would consider it still a rumor at this point. If this is true, I'm a little bit confused how this camera is gonna fit into the market at $1,500 and not compete very heavily with the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. But I'll go over the specs and I guess kind of set in some of the red flags that I possibly see. And you can give your opinions in the comment section below whether or not you think these specs tend to be legitimate or you think it's going to be completely different. So first off, they said this will have a 24 megapixel CMOS sensor, so I'm guessing that it's going to be the same one from the R6 Mark II, or at least it's the same megapixel count. It makes sense in this day and age where you have all the supply chain issues to order more in bulk of one particular item and use it in multiple cameras. Next, they said it will have the Digic X processor. Again, no surprises here. It will have dual pixel 2 autofocus with subject detection of aircraft, trains, cars, and animals. I'm assuming humans as well. So essentially they're saying that it's going to track pretty much all the same things that the Canon EOS R6 Mark II tracks. Again, this sounds about right to me. This is kind of what I expected it to have. Now, this is the part that starts to get a little bit odd to me because they say this will shoot up to 40 frames per second. I'm assuming electronic. Now, if that's true, that's really a weird spec to me because essentially that is the same that is in the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. And well, the R6 Mark II is $2,500. So why would they put the exact same spec into a $1,500 camera? For whatever reason, it just doesn't feel right to me. I personally thought it would come in a little bit slower than the R6 Mark II, so not sure exactly what they're playing at with this one. Which brings me to the next spec that seems a little bit too good to be true. They say this will have 4K at up to 60 frames per second, and it's gonna be oversampled. So I'm presuming that it's going to be oversampled from the 24 megapixels, so the 6K. That to me sounds just a little bit too good to be true because that is the exact same specs as the R6 Mark II. And well, if it's the exact same specs as the R6 Mark II, then why not just pay $1,000 less and get this camera? So something's not quite sitting right. Maybe they're saying that it's going to be oversampled from like 5K and they're going to have a 20% extra crop or something. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out. Personally, I thought that it was still just going to come in at 4K 30, but up it to 10-bit. So at least that's kind of like the cutoff right there. You're going to get 4K 30 10-bit, and then maybe they're going to have like an EOS R9, which is going to be an RP type follow-up, and it will stick with the 8-bit. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are going to bring in 4K 60 to this camera as well, and they're just going to find other ways to nerf it, but so far so good. They also say that it will have full HD at up to 180 frames per second. So again, this is like the exact same camera so far as the R6 Mark II. It will have C-Log 3. Now this is a part that seems a little bit odd to me, so I'm not sure if this is a translation issue coming from the Japanese site to Canon rumors. They say that the in-body image stabilization is not installed. Essentially that sounds like it doesn't have IBIS. It's just gonna have IBIS in the lenses. So I mean, I guess that's possibly where they're gonna differentiate it from the R6 Mark II. Again, that's not so big of a differentiating factor to me that would completely make the other camera worth $1,000 or $1,000 more, especially if you take the Canon EOS R, which I had a long time ago, and I absolutely love that camera for what it was, and I thought the digital stabilization with image stabilization that comes in their lenses worked great. So if that's all that they're going to do to differentiate it, to me, you still got a winner of a camera here. Now they say it will have a variance monitor, and again, I'm not exactly sure if this is a translation issue because I don't feel like I've ever heard that particular term. Are they talking about it, the EVF being a variance monitor? Because later on they talk about the actual flip screen monitor. 3.5 millimeter microphone jack, so again, nothing super special here. Maybe they're taking out the digital hot shoe, so maybe again that's going to be a little bit of a difference there between the R6 Mark II and this camera, but who knows. They say we'll have streaming by a USB-C, which there's nothing spectacular about that. And they say we'll have a new form factor. So I'm wondering, is this going to be changed up? Personally, I thought it would have a similar form factor to the R6 Mark II just because of the way things are right now, basically just them reusing a lot of different parts. It made a lot of sense for them to have basically the same body. But I'm wondering if maybe this does not have an EVF and that variance monitor is something completely different. I'm a little bit confused about that particular phrasing, and I'm just wondering if there's some lost in translation, or maybe after years of doing this, I'm still just learning new things. Let me know in the comment section below if you know what that possibly is, because right here they say we'll have a new vari-angle monitor. So I'm wondering if it's going to be something like the Sony A7R5, so it's going to be something that will actually flip down and then also flip over. Personally, I think that that's the best of both worlds, and that pretty much every camera manufacturer should do that. So I would love to see Canon adopt that version of things, but we will have to wait and see. They say it will weigh 461 grams, and it's going to launch along with another new kit lens that is going to be a 24 to 50 f 4.5 to 6.3 with image stabilization. They say that the overseas price is going to be $1,500 or $1,700 with the kit lens. And this is coming from a Japanese site, so I'm assuming that they mean that the overseas price is going to be in the US, so $1,500 US and $1,700 for the kit lens. So far, this camera sounds absolutely insane for the price, especially when you consider that the EOS R6 Mark II is like, what, maybe 6 months old at this point, and it comes in at $2,500. So where I think that they could differentiate it even more is they could maybe just give you one card slot, and I mean honestly take away the 4K 60, or I guess add an additional crop for 4K 60, even if you're downsampling from like 4.8K and it's just like a 20% crop. I'm not exactly sure of the math on it, but that makes a little bit more sense to me that they would do something like that. Or maybe even take out C-Log 3 and just put in C-Log 1. I just feel like there's going to be some kind of catch here that's going to make this camera, I guess, less appealing than the R6 Mark II, because the way it sits, it looks like a $1,000 cheaper R6 Mark II, or very close to it. But drop in the comment section below and let me know, does this sound right to you? Are you excited about this camera? Do you think that these are completely made up specs? Let me know all that in the comment section below, and if you would, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel and I very much appreciate it. And until next time, peace.